Alright, if this fits inside, it's good enough. It doesn't. Alright everyone, we're back in. I'm feeling a little bit more encouraged today. We're going to get this done. Let's see. A little tight for space here. I'm using this room for storage. I'm actually going to fasten this down a little bit more right there, and I'm going to cut this base plate right out, and that's going to make everything a lot easier. And the top, I'm going to do something similar, but I'll have to shore up the top before I do that. So don't have to take out a lot of flooring there. That's good. So I finally got moving, got all nice and warmed up, and everything was fine, and then I had to stop and take a call, and that's the worst. I was just standing there for half an hour on the phone, and I'm cold again, so let's get moving again. So my shop vacs at the other house, but that's all right. We'll be able to just sweep this into the basement where I can pick it up easily afterwards. Just move this debris out of the way for right now. fits inside, it's good enough. It doesn't. Wait a second, that's oversized. And check it from below. There you are. And it fits beautifully. Okay. Well, that's good. Work with that, and the upper one's going to be a little more processed, but shouldn't be that bad. So now that I've got this, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to remove the drywall where I need it on both sides. That's going to be the easy part. Once I get up there, there's going to be a backer plate for the ceiling drywall. So I've actually got 3 layers of 2x material to go through. Now it all kind of has to come out because given the position of the pipe down here, it's going to go through all of it. So once I get up there, and conveniently enough, it's right next to the attic access. That's pretty cool. So once up there, you're not supposed to really have anything in contact with it. So I'm going to have to build a box anyway. And I'll be tying those top plates back together using some rigid plywood with a hole cut out. The hole cut out is going to match the bottom. I'll be able to do that before putting it up. And then I'll be able to tie those back together and build a box going up that the loose fill insulation and everything can rest up against. And it'll leave the B vent completely undisturbed. Blade's not good for much else, might as well be good for drywall. So we're gonna go ahead and shove some of that insulation out of the way, make our plate, our box, get all that installed. Once that's done, then I'll clean up because I'm gonna drop down plenty of mess, I'm sure, while I'm doing this. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do, and for 2 reasons, I'm going to get the drywall backer in right now on both sides. Partially because it's a lot easier. I just screw it down to the drywall on that side and I'll mount it over here. And that way it's in, it's tight, it's where it belongs, and I can just attach to it when I get there with the rest of the framing. The other reason I want it in before I put that plate at the top is because it's probably going to leave dead spaces where you can't insulate. So I'd rather have that solid with wood than as a dead space. So if I put that in now, I should be good to go. And after that, we're gonna make our boxes up and put all that together. Then we just got to install the fire stops and shove the pipe through. Should be good to go. So here we are up in the attic. I'm gonna grab a dust mask and some gloves, and I'm just gonna shove this insulation out of the way. And right here, this is where one of the drywall backers is going, and then against this this truss here is where the other is going, and that's going to leave a hole pretty much exactly where we want it, and that's where our plate's going to go. So essentially, right here, alongside the plate, we're also going to have a box that extends up. The loose fill insulation is probably going to be about here. So we want to make sure the top of the box is well above that. And then from there, we're going to drill through into the roof. And I should actually be able to get that done today. It's going to be daylight by the time I get there. And we'll put the boot on and get this pipe fed. Once this pipe is fed, the rest is pretty simple. It's all in the basement. Alright, so there's our box. This goes down just like that after this goes in. Now you'll notice I left these up, and the reason I did that, I didn't have any scrap plywood that was taller. I may want to make this taller, not sure yet. We'll see though. But if I do, all I have to do is make another plywood box and attach just like this. So, let's get this up. So, oh, that's beautiful. There we go. My turn. There we go, that's perfect. Yep. Give me a second while I change bits. There. It's even solid. All right. Let's see how this pipe goes. You know, I wish there was a hole like that everywhere I went to sweep. You know, just put it in there, forget about it till later. Unfortunately, I got to cover it up and I got to deal with the mess down below. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my base plates in right now because this isn't that thick, so when I screw my piece in from underneath, I'd rather grab into the base plate than have to worry about nubs sticking out. So it's pretty easy to find where I came in. There she be. Alright, so this next part will still be a bit of a challenge. So I'm going to start these pipes in, and I'm going to do this before I frame these walls back in, just because it's going to get tighter the more lumber I put around here. So I'd rather put this in and box around it. So these are directional, and notice the words are upside down. There's a little arrow that says up. And make sure you point it the right direction. And I'm going to start by dropping one down below, and then I'm going to snap them together, drop it down a little bit more, and then, actually I should probably start the other way. We'll see. I'm going to shove one up and see what happens. Leave that there. Pretty sure it's probably tight. That's not bad. Pretty much holds itself. Hopefully this goes well. Get it up like so. There we go. That's it. I'm pretty sure. There's the roof, that's good. So yeah, I'm gonna get this last piece down and snapped in. And this is gonna keep it lined up to where I want it in the roof. And then I'm just gonna see where it lands up there, cut a hole, put the boot in. Alright, I'm going to try and just put these together on the ground. Has to be like that. Of course, I gotta put this in from underneath. Yep, that was a lot of effort. Oh man, it's see where it landed. Coming out fairly center of the box. That's good. Right there. See how easy that was? So we're going to find center of that. We're going to cut out a decent size hole, and yeah, we're just about there, aren't we? Oh, beautiful. All right, set back up in the dingy attic. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a little mark. Just got a sheet of plywood over top of my box there. Just keep us from getting anything in there unnecessarily. Oh, this will only take a second. This is a pretty aggressive drill bit. I just got to do my best not to let it rip my arm off. Fortunately, there's 3 layers of shingle up there. Boy. It's a tough thing to get through when it gums up the blade. That's what we want. All right, here we are back on the roof. So here is the roof flashing that we're going to be installing over this. There we go. And in the meantime, I'm going to use it, and it's going to serve a temporary purpose. Perfect. Now, of course, I want to cut this out a bit larger than what I have marked there. Fortunately, it's not right into the ridge and take off just a little bit. So it's a good thing what I usually stock is these siding nails instead. They're a longer length. They're for doing vinyl primarily. And the reason they're useful this time is because we're going through 3 layers of shingles. This is what they should have used on the last install, but they didn't. But that's all right. Oh, it's too awkward now. I'm going to have to push it up from the bottom. That worked out not too bad, and that's exactly where I want it, too. Bam. All right. Yeah, I hate that they put these stickers on. I really do. They never come off completely. I know I'm not alone in that. I'm gonna get that fastened before I start getting crazy with it. So we're almost done here with the exhaust vent. And as I said before, because of the way I had to get it through the wall there, it's probably the toughest part of all the HVAC. So what we have here is our pipe drop down, and we've got to make it all the way over here. Now this, I'll be removing this piece here and tapping it in. It'll be going from single wall ventilation pipe to the double wall B vent. So there is a complication here, and we're going to see just how well I plan this out. So this is a 4-inch diameter pipe. Now, a rule of thumb is that the amount of horizontal run you're allowed to do, the very max is 75% of the total height. Now, I got 15 feet here, so that's not a problem. 75% of that, I think it's like something around 12 feet. No, 11 feet. Anyway, it's somewhere around there. But there's other rules as well. So the diameter of the pipe, and the inside diameter is 4 inches. What we're allowed to do there for our actual maximum is we're allowed to go 1.5 feet per inch of diameter inside that pipe. So because we have 4 inches, that gives us 6 foot. That's the max we're allowed to do. And then on top of that, you don't really want level horizontal runs. You want it to have a little bit of an upward slope towards the chimney or the vent. And the minimum allowance for that is 1/4 inch per foot. So I measured this out, and to get to that pipe, it's about 60 or 72 inches exactly. Now I have 72 inches worth of B vent to install here. So that's going to keep me right at my limit and keep me from exceeding it. So the way I usually do this, the way I prefer to do it, is get everything hooked up and worry about the hangers and everything afterwards. That way I can ensure everything's nice, exactly where I want it, and I got all the slopes I needed, everything's hooked up properly, and then I mount it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with that, and I'm just going to keep everything propped up loose. Once it's sitting where I want it, then I'll throw the mounting brackets on and get it all fastened down. All right. So now what I want on this pipe, this is a 4-foot level, and on its own, if I do 1/4 inch per foot, I should have about 1 inch at the end if I hold this level. I'm going to go for 1.5 to 2 inches, just because I can do that visually, and it gives it more than enough slope to make this work. So that's pretty much level. I'm going to loosen this off a bit. Let it drop down. As I'm looking at it, to get about that much, I'm going to get it to about half a bubble on the level. Half a bubble up here. Put it this way so you can see, I guess. So, something you learn in concrete, and it's usually like close enough. So that's level. If you hold it so the bubble is about 1/4 past, that's 2%. That's about 1/4 per foot. Half is about 1/2 inch per foot. So I held it about there. Now if I hold it level And once I straighten these pipes out, it should be even better, but we'll base it on this one. So I'm gonna bring it up to level. And that is right around 2 inches, so that's pretty cool. And the cool thing here is that I don't need an excess of elbows either, because I'm gonna take it off here, and I'm going to get it so it's angled up and just one piece in. So in order to do that, I'm just realizing I need a piece that I didn't grab earlier. I'll have to go to the hardware store. I have an adapter that goes in this end that converts it to single wall, but if I put it on here, that brings me to longer than my 72-inch max. So I'm going to want that elbow to be V-bent and then do my transition. And I'll point it this way and just tap right in to the existing vent. So that's pretty cool. Let's get this unsightly thing off for now. Cool. Now trip to the hardware store and I get her finished up.